Good morning, everybody. Well, today is our last day of this week of vision and prayer. But how many of you know that it's only the beginning of what God's doing in our church for this year, right? And so I'm excited to see where He takes us. And if you've been following along this week, you know that the word that the Lord is speaking over our church is traction, right? You guys know that by now. Traction. You know what traction is? Traction makes it easier and more efficient to get where you're going. Traction is where the rubber meets the road, right? And so this week we've learned that the Lord is speaking to us that it's going to begin with our families. And so we're praying for our families to be strengthened, to be healed, for relationships to be healed, for our families to be strong and walking with Jesus this year. And so then he carries on and he begins to speak over our church that he's giving us the traction to be able to stand firm against the attacks of the enemies. We've been attacked by the enemy for too long, and he's giving us the traction to stand firm against these attacks from the enemies. And so yesterday we learned also that the Lord is speaking over us that we're not just to stand still, but we're to begin to walk in the Spirit. And all this takes traction, and God is going to make it easier for us to get where we're supposed to go. And so today we're going to carry on this progression, and the Lord is speaking over our church today. This is what traction means now in our church today, is that He is calling us to climb to new heights. Climb to new heights. That's exciting, guys. You know, the Bible teaches that we're being transformed from glory to glory, right? Paul says that he's pressing on toward the mark of the upward calling of God. It's an upward calling. God is calling us as a church this year in 2023 to climb to new heights. What does that mean? It means that new things are going to happen, right? It means that we're going to experience new things and new heights in the Lord that we've never experienced before. What's that going to look like? I have no idea, okay? When God called Abraham away from his home to move from his home, He gave him a few details. He gave him a few plans. He told him what He wanted him to do, but He didn't show him the complete goal of where He wanted him to go, okay? He just said, I'm going to take you to a promised land. And so what's it going to look like for this year? I don't know. I don't have a clear picture. We're going to know as we go along, but I'm excited to find out what it's going to look like because God is speaking so many amazing things over our church, and He's calling us to climb to new heights, and He's given us the traction to be able to do that. Amen. And so, you know, this has been such a good week, and I'm so happy to hear how God is speaking to so many of you. And I want to remind you all that we're going to be at the church tonight at 7 o'clock for an hour of prayer and sharing what God's speaking to our hearts. We're going to pray over the vision of our church. If God has placed it on your heart, any one of these things or all of these things, you know, if you need to pray for your family or for the families in our church, if you need to pray that you can stand strong against the attacks the devil's bringing against you, whatever it is, be there tonight at 7 o'clock. We're going to pray together, and then we're going to have a time of sharing what God is speaking to us individually, all right? You have a blessed day, and I hope to see you tonight.